Hello for kids, this is day 68 of me playing chess every day until I reach the rapid rating of 2500. So here we go. We have the game, we have the black pieces against a pretty lower rated opponent, but we'll do our best. So pawn to e4, pawn to c6, the Caro-Kann defense, d4 and d5, this is the Caro-Kann main line here. And knight d2 or knight c3 are both the same variation due to pawn takes pawn, knight takes, and this is just the main line. I'll play bishop f5 here. This is known as the classical variation. My opponent is playing very quickly with knight g3, bishop g6 and h4, or knight f3 also, knight d7, covering the e5 square. This is just mainline theory, nothing special here. But now h4. Now h4 with an idea to play h5 and try my bishop is correct. h6, h5, excuse me, bishop h7. This has all been played before. I played numerous games in this exact position, both over the board and online. Bishop c4 not the best move, but still let's just continue with developing with pawn to e6. You should push h5 and then play bishop d3, but okay. Bishop c4 not that bad of a move, and now h5. Simply bishop h7 is only move. Now you usually play bishop d3 and I need to take, and queen takes, but if you play bishop c4, well then I get a free tempo. Now bishop f4, we need to think a little bit here. I'm not very sure. This is not the theory anymore, because bishop c4 was just not the theory move. Also just developing looks nice, but in the main lines, when the queen is on d3, bishops are gone, and you play bishop f4, you play queen a5, like bishop b4, but that's no longer necessary. Or I could just play knight f6, and when the queen moves to d3 for example, excuse me, maybe here and then here, the same idea, but there is queen d2 as well. But knight f6 should be just fine, yeah. Oh, the queen cannot move to d3, yeah. I mean, that would be pretty hilarious. But no, just knight f6, queen d3 is of course a blunder. I don't know why I talked about it. But queen d2, trying to castle long here. When you castle long, you should have traded the bishops. Now my bishop is very active here, pressuring the c2, pressuring the whole light square diagonal here. And now you play pawn to c3, which is also weird. Now you won't really castle because my bishop is now very open and very active on this long diagonal. You should play bishop d3 whenever you will try to castle. You cannot really castle short as well because h5 will be too vulnerable. That's not how you pronounce the word, but still. Also knight d5 here. Bishop e7, continue developing. Queen b6, not a bad move either. I need to think slightly, because you won't beat lower rated opponents by just playing the moves. You should just keep investing some time. You are better than those players, that's why you will outplay them. As simple as that. I mean, bishop e7, short castles for me as well. Playing knight b6 and knight d5, also c5 might be an option. Rook c8, a6, b5, c5. I think just starting with bishop e7 is fine. If knight e5, just takes, bishop takes and castles, and c5 as an idea. And my bishop here is very strong, that's why I think I'm at least equal, if not even better, out of the opening here. So yeah, just bishop e7, I think. Just bishop e7 here. Developing, trying to castle. I'm not sure what my opponent will do now. Queen d2 makes some sense, trying to castle, but you castle short. Well, now I think h5 is just too weak. It is only defended by the knight on g3, and this knight has zero potential. It will just be on g3 for the rest of the game. Just castle short for black as well. I must be careful about like queen d2, bishop takes on h6 ideas. The rook e1, my opponent is playing just too quickly now, I believe. The rook e1 is just weird move. I mean, nothing wrong with the move itself, but playing so quickly, not in a rapid game, definitely not. c5, there is d5. Takes. So maybe knight b6, firstly bishop d3. Takes, and c5. If c5, then something like knight e5 probably takes. I get the knight to d5, and this is an isolated queen pawn, and that's just great. And this bishop needs to go back to d2 probably. I play rook c8, queen b6 also. Knight d7, bishop f6 to pressure the pawn here. Looks just overwhelming, yeah. Knight b6 looks like a positionally much better move than something else. Because c5 there is d5, yeah. That's the main reason I'm not playing c5 right away. I need to prepare c5. Maybe with queen d7, rook d8, maybe queen b3 here is not as bad as it looks like. But I think the b6 is here for the knight, and at least when I get the knight to d5, then maybe I will play queen b6 and rook d8 and c5. Also attacking this bishop is just pretty good for me, I think. Just knight b6 right away. I give away the e5 square. I don't think e5 is so crucial than d5. And if you get the knight to d5, for example, excuse me, just a second. So yes, if you get the knight to e5, he's not really doing anything here. And yes, bishop d3 is played, which is probably forced. And now you spend 2 tempi with your bishop. It is getting... I mean, bishop h7 is not required. You could play knight d5, bishop takes, king takes. But queen d3 then... That wins a temp. No, it doesn't. It's the same position. I think there just takes. Queen takes knight d5 for c5 also. c5. Then the queen is weird here. Also, then there is knight takes, eh? Maybe just takes. And knight d5. Also, there is knight f d5, not only knight b d5. What's the difference? Well, the bishop opens up, yeah? Not to attack the h5, but to pressure this diagonal. I'm not sure if that's that important. Also, c5 here, if, for example, rook d1 takes, even queen takes, rook takes is just pretty decent for my opponent. Also, I think knight d5 and keeping the tension and playing maybe bishop d6 to go there. Just knight d5, queen b6, rook d8. Also rook c8, rook d8, like this. And then c5. Excuse me, God bless me. Oh, but bishop e5 is played. This looks like it wins the bishop pair for me, doesn't it? Even knight g4 here wins the bishop pair. And this trade, how do we assess it? If the knight needs to leave the f3, then I push c5 and I'm happy. But what is better, knight d7, knight g4? I think it's pretty much the same. Then takes and maybe f6, maybe e5, bishop e6 also, queen c7, pressuring the knight, pressuring this knight. Knight d7 looks slightly better, I'm not sure why exactly. If c4 just takes, knight here. This is just too weak, yeah. c4 also knight b6. Just knight d7, yeah. My opponent is playing very quickly, so I shouldn't get too low on time. That's an advice my coach actually gave to me, that when I'm playing against a lower rated opponent, I usually spend a lot of time in the opening thinking how I will outplay them, but you don't really outplay people in the opening too often, so I shouldn't spend too much time on this one single move. Knight g4 and knight d7 is probably just the same evaluation, so why would I spend 10 minutes calculating which move is better? Just play one, yeah, knight d7. I think that's also the best move. gets the bishop. If bishop f4 just takes. There is no such nonsense. And bishop g5, bishop g7. Not really. So knight d7. And yes, my opponent is playing very quickly. I'm not sure, but maybe he's thinking that he will flag me, but that's definitely not the case. Knight d7 just wins the bishop, and I will have my light square bishop here. It's not the best piece, arguably. But when I open with c5, bishop takes, if takes, on c5, then my bishop is very active on this diagonal. Queen b6 to come with this fork potential future. I just like that. But also knight on e5 shouldn't be really a bad piece, because knight takes c5, bishop takes. When queen b6 is played well, there is knight d7. That's something to look after, but still. You play c5, you play c4 actually. I saw that move, but it doesn't strike to me as a very good one. It doesn't strike me as a very good one, excuse me. I think I should first take here, attacking the queen, so knight takes, I guess. If pawn takes, knight b6 takes and takes, I get the open d file. This pawn is attacked. b3 though, not the best endgame, but still, maybe you go to b4 actually. So just knight takes, probably just forced. Knight takes, knight here. Wow, you take with the pawn, yeah? But that looks wrong for many reasons. First of all, is that I can play knight b4 here. Second of all, is just knight b6 here. And also knight c7. Knight c7 is just a bad move. So I think I need to choose between knight b6 and knight b4. I personally think knight b4 is much better, just from looking to it. But this move will probably decide the game. Not decide the game, but the fate of the game, the path of the game. So this pawn is a weakness, definitely. That's something we need to assess right now. And also his queen side is not very solid. Knight b4, I guess queen b3. I mean, if you take me, then I should be just fine. Rook takes, I get the d file, I get all these pawns here. I mean, that's just not that great, yeah. And my bishop can reroute to take the here. And also, for example, I can get my knight back to c6, which is... If I get my knight here and here, I guess c6 is much better square. So just knight b4, I shouldn't spend too much time. I think he will trade off my... I think he will trade off the queens, but that's... slightly... You know, not really... That's something what lower rated players are used to do when they are playing higher rated opponents. And even if I were playing like 2200, I would trade queens here. But he plays queen b3, which I think is the best move. Now he's x-raying the b7. c5. a3, I think knight c6 here. Is my pawn sacrifice good or not? Probably it's not really sound, yeah. Also there is a move a5, a3 and a4, which looks very nice, and something my opponent could miss. After a5 he can play a3 very quickly, then simply a4. If queen takes, bishop takes, and queen c7, and then I can get my knight back to c7. I could, after here, a3, a4, excuse me, queen c3, and I play the move like knight a6 and going here, and then b2 is very weak because I get the pawn to a4. So here, queen c3, I mean, there is also a move like knight d3 here, but probably just rook d1 wins, yeah. I mean, that is like this, but this just loses material. So I think a5, a3, a4. Am I blundering something? Queen needs to go to c3 there. Maybe not the greatest position ever, but I think still that b2 is just too weak. Probably my opponent is thinking that I blundered. And also this doesn't look that bad for me. Rook d1 though. Queen c7 now, pressuring the pawn. Oh, you can get the knight to d6, but I'm in time, yeah, to block. I mean to block, to play move rook d8. Here, and rook d8. I think I'm in time. And also this is pretty weak now. I mean, a3 now. I could play a4, I could also bring my knight back. But I will just play here. But now I'm also seeing that my knight doesn't have... Oh, it has... It has c5, so that's pretty okay. Just go as planned. Here is the only move. Knight to 6 is the only move, yeah. Let's make it a quick one here. Rook d8. Probably forced. And also f6 in some moments. Now that queen is aligned here, that would be a tempo, but e6 is very weak there. Okay, he plays knight e4 indeed. I play rook d8 here. I just simply take. There is queen e5, rook d8. Oh but my queen is defended here, so that doesn't make any sense. So it's just rook d8. Which rook? Probably rook a d8. Rook a d8, yes. Probably. Is queen c2. I'm down to 5 minutes. Oh, I can get the knight to d5, yeah. So I think that's just it. Queen c2 b5. Here takes. Here takes. Here. Just 95. And then, oh, the knight is also attacking here. So first it takes, and 95. And then just takes the pawn. I should be completely winning there. I think so. I will show all the lines I'm thinking of right now in the analysis section. Right after the game. So check out that part as well. And yes, your knight looks good. But I mean nothing special. Play c5. This looks weird, allowing me to do so. Rook d5 takes, pawn takes, knight d6. I simply pick up the pawn. b6 also takes. This is weak. I'm not sure, but my opponent is outplaying me. But this is so weird. b6 takes is the only move. Takes. This is weak, so yes, I have some counterplay. So this is weak. I think there is no other move. There is f6. Takes, queen takes. Bishop takes, excuse me. But then simply knight takes. How should we react now? Should not spend too much time here, so just make a move. b6 I think is something I would play. So queen takes is a pre-move now. Knight d6 doesn't work due to pawn takes. Or even knight takes perhaps. So Pawn takes is the only move. After queen takes, we'll see what will happen. My opponent is playing super fastly. He didn't spend a lot of time. 96 now. Oh, yes, but I think I can take here. I mean, that's bad, so why would I? Rook b8. Knight here, though. He's outplaying me. There is rook d7, but rook d7 looks too passive. Let's go. Make some threats in the position. Now rook c1, I just take here, takes. And I just go rook here, queen takes, I take on d6. Defending the queen, defending the rook. Then I think my position should be at least slightly better, if not all. Rook e2 is so good of a move. But I can't get my knight here, so that's something I'm trying to do. But rook c2, how do I defend the pawn? I don't is the answer, yeah? I don't think I have anything else than knight c2. A knight c7 here, 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 here. Rook takes here. Then rook c7, I guess, just bishop d8 or something. No, just get the knight to d5. Rook c2 now. But that's weird. How is he outplaying me and not spending any time? And in some endgame I will also have f6 as an option there. Oh, I don't even get the b2 because ay. Takes. And knight b5. Here I go here. Takes here. I guess that's what I have to do now. Knight b5 also. Queen takes. That's... Oh, but I get the bishop. If I go here, takes, I take like this, I should be fine. Maybe that's an overcommit statement, but knight b5, queen takes, knight takes, pawn takes, bishop takes, queen takes, rook takes, I'm fine there. The material is the same. Also, this is weak. So yes, knight b5. I think that's... Oh, but knight b5, you can go here. No, you can't. Knight b5. And I don't give away the bishop, which I think is important to target some of... Excuse me for that. Ay. I'm fine, don't worry. My lamp just fall off. Oh my goodness. Okay. Let's go back to the game. So queen takes was played. There are some forks, but knight defends everything. I think just knight takes here. Oh my goodness. Whew. And bishop takes, queen takes here. Oh my goodness, I just died. Well, I almost died now. I mean, like, psychically. Oh my goodness, how did this happen actually? But I am fine, don't worry. Take on a4, yeah, of course you do. Also, your back rank is quite weak now. There are some tactics. I don't have times to think, so here I'm if you take me and I take you, well then I'm threatening to sack my queen and simply mate you. Because I um you of course find the correct move here. Is there like any sort of tactic here? Have to take probably. Maybe not. Your knight is super strong here. This was probably a threat, but not really. Still, queen c6 is very strong. Queen b3 there. Now I could be threatening bishop g3 now. Attacking the pawn. Pressuring back rank as well. Any bishop move now threatens to mate you. I'm not sure how to take advantage of that. Rook c6 now. Simply take here. And you're up a pawn, but your position is... I mean, I'm not seeing very good move for black. Because bishop g3 is coming. And what do you do? And what do you do then? Knight e1, rook d1. Oh, there is rook c1. Pick up my rook. But still, you play queen c6. Wow. Queen b3 probably, yeah? Maybe I'm just missing something, but this is checkmate. So yes, you cannot move your rook except for move rook c1 here. And then you lose the pawn. Rook here. Queen c3 though. I go back. Will you repeat moves or what? I don't think my opponent will go for a draw. I will try to play for a win here, but that's pretty hard to say that I will do, yeah. And now I'm not even threatening the mate because queen defense. Also quite bad. Bishop g3. There is queen c6, yeah. Queen c5, excuse me. That probably just loses for me. I'm not even threatening rook d1 here. Oh, I need to calculate now. Bishop f2. No, I go back. Maybe I had bishop here. Rook takes rook d1, knight here. Queen. No, there was no queen e3. Yeah. I thought I had queen e3, but I didn't have. Now we are simply... What is this? I think you're losing now. Whew. I think you're losing now. What do you do? what do you do? You self-pinned. You just pinned yourself. I think you're losing. Very hard. Very hard game. Queen c5 played. I can take and... Takes, rook takes, rook takes. I'm quick enough, yeah? Rook takes just threatens mate, so you have to take it. Yes, I'm just winning now. Very hard game. Very hard game indeed. I mean, he just outplayed me completely, I think, in that middle game. But now I'm just completely winning. Ooh, very tough game actually. Decided by one blunder. But this is always like that, so... Will you resign or what? You don't believe me that I can mate with 5 queens. With 3 queens actually, okay. Oh, but this pawn is the wrong color, yeah? But I also have this pawn, so... You resign. GG. It was very good game. So let's analyze it now. I think you are asking me to for a rematch, but thanks. No, I don't have the time to do it. I would otherwise. So yes, I played pretty great game. By the accuracy itself, I played with 88.9. My opponent played with 82.9, which is still pretty great. So let's analyze the game now. I think my opponent was winning at some point. I'm not sure. E4, C6, D4, and D5, the Caro-Kann defense. And he played 92. Usually people take or play E5 or play knight C3. But the position is the same after takes. Takes is the same that what happened in the game. But just with the move knight D2. Takes, takes, and bishop C5. There is also the move knight f6 here, takes, takes. You get double F pawns, you get some line of attack. I don't like these positions that much, so I played bishop f5, knight g3, and bishop g6, knight f3, and now knight d7 is just the best move if you play like e6 here, which is still possible. Well, then simply like knight e5, maybe h4 firstly, and then h6, and now knight e5 and bishop here and bishop d3, and you get the knight to e5, and you should be slightly better. So knight d7 is just the best way of playing, defending the square. If now you play here, I mean, I just take you. No, maybe I play on queen a5 to pick up this pawn. But yes, you get the point. Knight d7 preventing that. h4, h6. If I were to play e6 here, simply h5 wins my bishop. That is bishop f. Oh, that is bishop f5. But still, this position is so... Yeah. Bishop d3. How do you defend the pawn with g6 or what? But yes, I play h6 here. Bishop c4 is weird. The main line is h5, bishop h7, bishop d3, takes, takes. Not that you need to know that. Knight f6 and bishop d2 here. Bishop d2, you play e6. Usually you play move castles. Bishop e7 and knight e4 takes. Queen takes here, and queen e2. And you play queen d5 attacking the pawn. And this is actually the only move. You have to play queen d5, or castles and then queen d5. But you have to play queen d5 at some moment. Attacking here, you play c4 and queen e4. If takes, I mean, you will castle long, attack on d4, attack on f2, bishop e3 is only move here, and just castles and f5. This position is just very solid for black. So yes, that is the theory, but bishop c4 here is just weird. e6 the best move, h5, bishop h7, and bishop f4, knight f6, c3, bishop e7, continue developing castles and castles. And here rook e1, he was playing very quickly. Knight b6 was okay, not the best. I should have played knight d5 just... And c5 is bad, yeah? It's not bad. We need to only move that proves an advantage, but it's just equal. What about d5? Oh, knight b6 now. Knight b6 now, but d6 is still tricky. Knight takes, pawn takes, and queen takes, eh? Okay, this is probably just much better for black. Okay, I play knight b6 firstly, bishop d3, takes and takes, and now I played knight b to d5. There was also the move c5 here, but just rook a1, I didn't know what to do here. Queen d5 allowing... Queen d5 not allowing c4 and attacking a2. But okay, I played knight b5 here, the best move. Bishop e5 and knight d7. And yeah, now you cannot play bishop f4 back. You cannot move your bishop. So my opponent played c4. Knight takes on e5 was played, which was the best move. Pawn takes on e5. And knight b4 was the best move indeed. Now I was thinking about taking the queen, but I thought that I'm just better. Having here, threatening a2 at some moment, playing c5 and then rerouting the knight back to d4, playing f6, opening the diagonal for my bishops. I think I'm very happy in this position. So queen b3 was played, very good move. And now a5. Why? Well, if I play a random move like king h8, a3, knight e6, and queen b7. No queen b7. Oh wait, you here takes. Your queen is getting trapped. Oh, your queen is getting trapped. Rook b8, and your queen is trapped. If you go here, rook b6. Oh, I didn't see that. But still, after rook d1 here, queen, why is a3 so good here? Knight e6 and my knight is out of the game. That's why. And like knight e4 with the same idea we saw in the game. But yes, you cannot take the pawn. So rook d1, queen c7, a3. I played a5. Queen c3 only move. Of course, if you play queen e3, where and there is fork here. Unfortunately, that didn't happen. But queen c3, knight e6 only move. Of course, there was no other square. Knight e4 and rook a d8. The position is still equal, surprisingly. And now c5. So I was thinking about playing rook d5. Why? It's threatening the pawn. So probably... Wait a second. Knight f6 is the only move. G takes, and now rook takes. C takes, and E takes. Bishop takes here. Knight e5 apparently. The only move is to sack the bishop and trade off the queens. And this endgame is better for black. That's why rook d5 is so good. Insane. I would never have seen this. But I don't think after rook d5 my opponent was planning to play knight f6. But still I would probably lose there if I were to do that. Because yes, my opponent is always here. He's threatening just to mate me. So there is no other way to stop that. Maybe king h7. Oh, we firstly play queen d3 and then here. The only move in the position is queen d2. I get it, I mean, but still, king h7. And now just knight g4. Okay, I get it. So c5 was played. Rook d5 was the best way. I played b6. I mean, it's still equal. Takes, queen takes. Knight d6 and I played rook b8. And that's just worse for me. Rook e2 not the best way to respond. Knight c7 not the best way either. And rook c1. We both made a lot of mistakes here. But knight b5 is just the best move. Queen takes, knight takes, pawn takes, bishop takes. Ooh, bishop takes was a mistake. Oh my goodness. Queen takes, rook takes, and bishop f6 is the best way of playing. The pawn is 2 squares away from queening. And you say that this is equal. And white is up a pawn. He will lose that pawn probably, but still. In the worst case scenario, let's say king h1. Takes, here takes d7. This is the worst case scenario. We're talking about bishop takes on a3. I get it, rook c8 doesn't do anything, yeah? No, it does, but then bishop e7, yeah? Now bishop e7, of course, only move. Take, there is king to take, and that's just winning. But okay, not taking the d6 pawn is just weird. So, I saw that he wins a pawn on a4, but I thought that's not that bad. I'm having a lot of counterplay. Rook c2, takes, and rook d8. Queen c6, queen b3, wait. Oh. Bishop g3 is the best move in the position. Queen takes, rook is checkmate. And the only move to keep the advantage is king f1. And then you can take here. If rook takes, queen. And if queen takes, bishop takes. This is still very dangerous, and I would probably lose this to a slightly better player. Maybe even he would beat me in this endgame. I played queen b3, and now I'm just losing. Queen c3 is another blunder. Why? Because what was the winning move? Rook d. Rook d2. Rook d2. Queen b8, defending. And just g3. I mean, I get it, you have 2 pawns, but still that shouldn't be like lost. I mean, it is, but okay, queen c3 was a blunder. I played queen b6 back, b4, bishop g3 now, which is just weird. I'm threatening nothing. He played the move rook to d2, and here I was calculating. I had 10 seconds. I was calculating bishop takes, rook d1, knight e1, and I was calculating here queen e3. I mean, just queen takes, yes, of course, but I had very low time. So, unfortunately, I didn't take on f2. I played bishop d6 back, and he played knight d4. I pinned him, of course, which was the only move. Oh. And now, the drawing mechanism is to take on e6. What? Oh, there is checkmate net. Oh, that's why I needed a second to get it. I cannot take the queen because here. If I go here, where then there is here. King g8 and knight e6. How do we win this? King h7. How do we win this? Knight f8, king g8. How do we win this? Oh, just rook c8. Only move. Queen b7, for example. Oh my god. Oh my goodness. Knight g6 is win. Oh my god. Oh, that's so sick. Oh, knight g6. Oh my god. You need to sack the queen, otherwise he's mate. Then there is knight e7. I mean, that's just insane. For him to see that, and that's only why this variation doesn't loses. So bishop e5 was played. He played queen c5. I simply took it. I was thinking about taking here, but just rook takes, yeah? Oh, no. Yes, just rook takes, yeah. Here and there is check. And I lose. So I took, which was the best. Bishop, rook takes. Now if you move the rook, I mean, this is mate. So we have to take my rook. Pawn takes, what was played here? c6, and now the only move? Not the only move, but there was also bishop e5 to get here. But okay, bishop b6 still. And I simply won this game. Here my opponent resigned, but yes, this game wasn't perfect, but I mean, I played very poorly. And I had a very big luck that I didn't lose the game. There were a lot of opportunities for my opponent to get the winning advantage, but I guess I guess luck is also what we need. So yes, if you have anything to tell me, please let me know in the comments below. I will be reading and answering all of your comments. And I recently also launched some new memberships on my YouTube channel, so you can become a member for like $2 per month. It would really help me out. You get some amazing insights from my training, from my overboard tournaments, so you just check it out. And of course, as always, if you like the video, please consider subscribing, it would really help me out. And see you guys tomorrow. Bye bye.